everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to share my story of my first day on the job doing door-to-door sales. It was pouring down rain. My jacket got stolen from some guys who literally walked up on me in the middle of a sale. I had one battery left on my flip phone that I used to call my mom to basically figure out what the heck I would do. I didn't have a car, no way to get out of this neighborhood. And when you sell ADT home security systems door to door, you're not in the best neighborhood. I'm going to let you know what happened at the end of that day, what I learned from it, and how that learning carried with me for the rest of my life. So one of my first jobs was when I was 18 years old. It was the summer after my freshman year of college. This was the first real life job that I think I had, though I did do a lot of HVAC mechanical work for my uncle in high school. That was some very backbreaking manual physical labor job that I did in the summer. And it really set the stage for needing to do well in college and getting a good education, because I did not want to be doing backbreaking gross work underneath houses for $8-10 an hour. This particular job was offered to me by a good friend of mine, and I was more than happy to fly up to Seattle to get my first taste of door-to-door sales. Woohoo! Now, at the time, I was a lot more extroverted than I would say I am now. I've definitely touched a little bit more with my introverted self, especially lately. But back then I was very, very, very extroverted. In college, I loved going out and I loved meeting people. And in this particular job, we would get picked up in these minivans each day, and they would basically drive us out to our designated territories. And we would then go door knock until we would make contracts and sell ADT home protection systems. So these are like the security systems that you install in your house, and you're selling these alarm contracts because they're basically charging $50 a month to keep these home protection systems in your house. Anyway, I thought it was a great opportunity. My friend was talking it up and how great it was. So I fly up there. They put us in these 2-bedroom apartments, but 2 people per room. So it was 4 people in 2 bedrooms. And sometimes they would have guys with mats on the living room floor just sleeping in there. You could tell it was definitely a summer job. People would come up, work, do it during the summer, go home, and hopefully make a bunch of money. But it was 100% commission. When I first started, I got $150 per sale that I made. They trained us for 2 days. So you'd go out with the area sales manager for one day, then you go out with somebody else for a day, and you'd go door knock, door to door, in not the best areas of town, if I'm being honest. They don't necessarily make you feel safe while you're walking around. And we would try to sell alarm contracts. Well, my very first day out alone on the job by myself, I did not know what to expect. I saw my sales manager make like 2 sales in one day. I saw my other guy, what was his name? I think his name was Sheldon at the time. He made 2 sales the next day. So I'm like all fired up. I'm like, man, if I could make $300 a day, whoo, this was, again, in the late 2000s, early 2000s. I think it was 2000. What was it, 2008, 2009? Yeah, I think it was. So that was a lot of money, especially for someone who was 18 years old. So I get out there and it is just pouring down rain. My boss gives me this rain jacket that had another company that he used to work for, another alarm contract company, and said, hey, just to here, wear this jacket. And I didn't think anything of that. So I get out there, pouring rain, all motivated to hit the doors. And for 3.5, 4 hours, I just got rained on. One older couple let me inside. They basically felt sorry for me that I was getting rained on, and they let me pitch them, and they politely said no. So I ended up having to go and basically sit in a park underneath a tree because I was just soaking wet. And after the rain picked up or let down for just a little bit, I started walking and making my knocks again, trying to get motivated because I'd knocked on probably 30, 40 doors at this time, and I'd gotten a no over and over and over again. It was very demoralizing, but I stood with it. And I remember in the middle of this conversation I was having with the person at home, all of a sudden, 2 guys come up behind me and they tell the person that I'm talking to that, hey, don't listen to this guy. This guy is a scam. He's a fraud. You do not want to do business with this person, right there in front of me. And I turned around. I freaked out. I did not know what was going on at all. And I just basically backed off the doorstep. I kind of started walking, and I was like, what are you guys doing? Who are y'all? And they were like, dude, you're impersonating. You need to stop right now. And I was so confused. I did not know what to think of these guys. So I start walking, and these guys literally just start following me. They start following me around and harassing me. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? What are you guys talking about? I was a little freaked out. Finally, I get my my buddy on the phone who who had invited me up to go and sell for this corporation. And the guys were mad because I was wearing a jacket that had their company on it. I guess my boss used to work for them. And so my buddy talks with him. I ended up just taking off the jacket and just giving it to him. I'm like, dude, if you want the jacket back here, I don't freaking care about the jacket. And they finally got away. And so I'm getting poured on because it's still raining. I now don't have a jacket on. It's cold outside. I'm freezing and I cannot focus. So I go pick this abandoned building out, and I go and I sit and I kind of huddle over on the doorstep of this big building that nobody's home in. And I get my little flip phone out. Back then they had the little flip phones. And I started to call my mom, and I called my mom. I was like, hey, I just want to let you know how my first day went. And I'm out here frozen. It's raining. Weather's not good. These two guys followed me around. I'm cold, but I'm going to stick with it. And she was like, how many bars do you have on your phone? I said, I just got one bar left. She goes, Brandon, hang your phone up. How are they going to come find you? I said, I didn't think about that. I guess, yeah, they need to be able to drive around and find me. And so I ended up getting picked up a couple hours later. My boss was like, what in the world happened? What did these guys want? And it was really, really weird. Turns out it was like just a freak accident or freak event, because no one had ever heard of that happening, and nothing like that happened the rest of the summer. So I got my jacket stolen, and I was really cold. I'm glad I didn't get pneumonia. And I learned that day, nobody goes out and knocks when it's raining. Everybody goes and hunkers down and stays dry. So I was out there still hitting the doors, even though it was raining, hustling. And I'll tell you, that being my first door-to-door sales job, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about sales, namely that you've got to be okay being rejected. You've got to be uncomfortable getting the no's. You have got to be comfortable overcoming objections over and over and over again. And ultimately, you've got to be uncomfortable and deal with surprises that happen, like two dudes showing up in the middle of your sales and calling you a fraud in the middle of the sales process. But looking back, that was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it taught me how to deal with rejection. It taught me how to overcome objections. It taught me sales. I got to cut my teeth doing something. I ended up walking away from that job that summer with enough money to write a check for my annual rent in college, plus have a little bit of spending money left over. That was huge for me. That amount of money, I'd never seen that amount of money before. So all this to say, had I not done that job today, I don't think I would have been the person that I am today. I think it's so important that everybody does very, very hard work, especially in their early years, because I compare what I do now to, door knocking is just being so much easier and a lot less work. I don't know if it's less work, but it's definitely more enjoyable work. So, it's really taught me that, when I have kids and I'm raising my kids, I really want to grow them up, to have them learn a skill rather than go and just get a job. And I want them to get a taste of what really, really hard work feels like, because I want them to be able to take that and carry that skill set with them and that work ethic with them for the rest of their life. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you get value from these podcasts, do us a favor, leave us some reviews and share with your friends and family. We'll see you next time.